What's up, everybody? It's been a while since I've done a video, and many of you guys already know that in a couple of my last videos, I said that my view is not changing much on the world. And it's been, about 2 years I've been saying, no, maybe a year I've been saying about the exact same thing about what the economy is going to do. So I'm going to do a quick economic update. Before I get into that, if you're in Southern California, near the Inland Empire area, I am a strawberry farmer, and we sell strawberries throughout the Inland Empire area, and our business is picking up dramatically, especially since I've started delivering. So if you want to get strawberries, you can message me. I will include my Facebook contact in the link below, along with the name of our farm and our farmer. And you can go there and order strawberries from us there. You can message me at Facebook, and I'll give you my direct number so that we can schedule a delivery if you are so inclined to buy strawberries. Now, with the economy, I've always seen as downturning, and we're seeing this all over the world. The exports and shipping routes are hurting big time. And since my last video, I believe China dumped money into the economy during that video. And that was a good sign of how the Chinese economy is severely slowing down. And the U.S. economy is severely slowing down. However, the figures for the U.S. economy are very positive. Everything looks good, looks great, because Donald Trump is using the same fuzzy math figures that all the neocons and the globalist communists are using, because they've provided those tools to him, and he wants to get reelected. Also, he wants to be able to bring down the economy and to blame the central bank so that we can audit the central bank and possibly get rid of it. Because central banks are what have created most of our problems around the world. They take money and they dump it into the economy and make it look all artificially good, make it look like people are buying things, but it's really just the Fed buying things. And so you get bubble economies where things, the prices rise and asset prices rise and everybody's fat and happy. And then it makes them feel good. And then what do the banks do? They offer everybody credit at low interest rates so that people can then become slaves to the banks by borrowing money from them. And then when everybody's indebted, what do the banks do? Oh, they see a slowdown in the economy, so they stop dumping money into the economy. They call it quantitative tightening. They start raising interest rates, which is what the Fed has done in the past couple months until 2019 began, because they started doing these hikes, and the Fed is known to raise interest rates until something breaks, because they're doing it on purpose. You're already in debt. We have record debt in the world today, and now your job cannot earn you enough money to pay just the interest alone on your credit cards. So people stop buying things on credit cards, and you start to see defaults. Credit cards aren't the only form of loan but they are bad loans usually, because most people use credit cards for consumption rather than for investment purposes. If you use debt for investment purposes, your debt is being serviced immediately by your investing the money you borrow. So it brings in a return on your investment that then pays the interest on your credit card balance or your loan balance, whatever it may be, however you financed it. And this is why education is so expensive, because you don't see education's return is often delayed by many, many years. You can graduate college and not get a job, So how can you get a return on your college investment until you get paid for it? There are some education organizations where part of your education is you actually have to work. So they'll get you a job, you're working, earning income, while you're financing your education. So your income from your work goes directly to servicing the loan on your on your degree or your vocation, whichever it may be. Most colleges aren't set up that way. It's an old system, and because the government makes money off of loans as well, they've gotten into the banking. They're sleeping with the banks, basically. And so we, the people, are in big trouble. So everybody's in debt. You're starting to see defaults. The Fed raised the cost of borrowing money, and it's getting harder and harder and harder. So when credit creates an artificial expansion in an economy, you are going to get an extremely heavy artificial deflation as a result once people stop borrowing and stop paying off their debt, and you see many of these debts get written off as losses for businesses, and you could see some banks going under. So many of my investments are doing pretty well. Like I said in some of my videos from like a year ago, that I was shorting markets every time they were announcing that the markets had hit a new record. And then at the bottom, I got out of those shorts and the markets started rallying. And I said I wouldn't short again until I hear the word record again. And we're starting to hear the word record again. I did short a little bit early on some things like the banks. And so I was a little early. The banks still rallied. Bank stocks still did well. And so I lost a little money at first, but you don't lose it. You don't realize the loss unless you sell out of your position at a lower price than you paid in. So I didn't sell out. I've been holding on all this time. And now the banks are showing financial stress and hardship. So we've had a bit of sell-offs on the banks, and now I'm at pretty much break even again. So I'm pretty happy about that. I was a little nervous for a while that maybe I made the wrong decision. But I am convinced now that we are getting close to the time of reckoning. So the banks are going to start dumping money into the system again because the recession signs are there. And if you think about what banks are, they're trying to do evil things without being, discovered. So they will be more reactionary than proactive, if you know what I mean. So they're not gonna take action before out of foresight. So if they see a depression coming, they're not gonna dump money into the markets now. They're gonna wait until the depression starts to kick in, and then they will kick in the money. They'll do it after to try to justify us keeping afloat, because they want people to scream for their own slavery. And remember, the banks are slave masters, so they're not going to do things out of preservation for people. If they see a depression coming, they're not going to try to prevent it or stave it off. They're going to let it kick in first, so people go, oh no, we're going to die, do something. Just like in 2008, and the banks will come in and they will do their thing after, and it's usually going to hurt us all. So what I expect is they're going to probably start to sacrifice the US dollar. In the downturn, like I've said, I subscribe to Brent Johnson's dollar milkshake theory, which so far has been spot on, that the dollar is going to increase in value. And it coincides with my belief that there's a liquidity crisis looming because of the new defaults in credit. Liquidity crisis means there's not going to be as much liquid cash available to you. If you want dollars, it ain't gonna be there unless you're earning it at work. And if you lose your job because businesses go under and they lay off, that's less liquidity there. But the liquidity I'm talking about is from the banking system. If you try to get a loan, ain't no loan. They're not going to lend it to you because you're a high risk, because you defaulted on your credit cards or on your car loan or on your student loan or on your house loan, your home loan, or on your commercial real estate loan, or so on and so forth. All these loans that people have gotten involved in, and they can't pay for it. So you're going to start seeing all that money, that cash that was once freely available with low interest rates and a lot of loans being given out. The cash is going to just implode. It's going to disappear because it's going to be written off, no longer in existence, and no money will change hands. So we have no money velocity, and so people will want money because problems will start to appear. They're going to have bills to pay, and if they don't pay their electric bill, the electricity gets cut off. If they don't pay their natural gas bill, gas gets cut off. They don't pay their credit card bills, interest is accruing, and it will negatively affect their credit again. If they don't pay people they owe, basically services and goods stop flowing then when you don't have cash. So cash is king during those times, and people want it. And when there's no cash available, no liquidity available, you see the value of the dollar rise because people will want dollars. This is the same in China. The yuan will rise in value as people start to experience financial problems. And by China dumping their yuan into the economy to keep it afloat, they're utilizing that increase in yuan value and demand to reinflate their economy. It shows how bad the Chinese economy really is. So we've got this trade war, and I told you before, Trump is using tariffs to hurt China so that he gains leverage in negotiations. Trump is truly a great negotiator, and people just don't realize it. They think he's stupid, and that shows how stupid they are because he's a multi-billionaire, and he did it through negotiations. He even wrote a book about the art of the deal, and most people don't bother to read those books. A lot of them have Trump derangement syndrome, where they just hate Trump no matter what he does. So the dummies will commit suicide because he's our president. And if you go against our president, you're going against our own interests. And if you're a U.S. citizen or you live in the U.S., even if you're illegal, and you go against the president of the United States, you seek your own self-destruction. You're suicidal, and to me, you're an idiot. By all means, you're just so stupid. If I lived in a country, I would seek that country's best interest because I'm in it. That's like being on a boat and the captain is saying, we got problems on the hull of the ship. We ran aground and there's a hole and there's water leaking into the boat. So we need everybody's hands on deck so we can make this boat great again. And you're on the boat going, this captain is stupid. I want another captain. And you're going down on the side. You're sending people to pound more holes in the hull of the boat. That's you if you protest our president. That's how stupid you are. You are trying to sink the ship that you are on, which just shows me how retarded people really are. And if you're triggered by this, I don't give a crap. You are dumb. You are dumb. You need to look in the mirror and punch yourself in the face if you're triggered. Don't punch at me. You're the dummy. You like to commit suicide and hurt yourself. Go punch yourself in the mirror for being stupid if I trigger you. Don't take it out on me because I'm being smart and I'm trying to wake your stupid ass up. And I'm sorry if I trigger people up. I'm just tired of the way people think. They don't. They really do things that undermine everybody's self-interest and best interest. And they think they claim they're doing it for the best of the community as communists, but they're really causing harm to everybody. So anyway, Trump uses the pain for China to negotiate a trade deal. And I believe a trade deal is going to happen because both the U.S. and China are suffering. And like I said, the liquidity crisis is coming. And as a result, the central bank of the United States will probably mirror what China is going to do because they are going to be blamed. No matter what, they're in trouble because they got caught in the fact that they enslaved people through debt. And so Trump painted them in the corner by saying, hey, look. They gave out loans to everybody, and now they're raising rates. What do they think they're going to do? And so Trump and Larry Kudlow have come out. Larry Kudlow said we need to cut by 50 basis points. Trump is saying 100 basis points, which is basically 0.5% we need to cut or a full percent we need to cut so that we can stimulate, we can allow people to borrow again at cheaper interest rates so that we can stimulate the economy again and get it flowing. And I think that's coming. We may get a crash first, but how big that crash is going to be, they can't. The credit is so immense. If they allow it to crash too fast, too far, too much, it'll be too late. And who knows, we may actually do that. We may actually achieve a reset, even though the central bank may start cutting rates like crazy to try to stop it. But they're going to get blamed no matter what. And the news people and the Trump derangement people are all trying to blame Trump for this. Sorry, this has been something that's been going on for more than 2 years. The Federal Reserve was created in 1913. We are now in 2019, which is over 100 years after the Federal Reserve was created. And these kinds of Federal Reserve central bank induced bubbles and crashes have been going on throughout United States histories. 1930s, which is 20 years after the creation of the Federal Reserve, we had our Great Depression. And the Democrat Franklin Roosevelt, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, made gold illegal to own. He confiscated gold and then he repriced it after they took it from all the people and made gold more expensive. And so anyone who had dollars in their pockets immediately lost a dramatic portion of their purchasing power by the government robbing them, and the people were too stupid to realize what the Democrats had done to them at that time. If they were smart enough, Democrats would have never been reelected ever again, because people would realize Democrats try to rob you. And they don't realize that. That's why they keep putting the Democrats in power, and they think that Democrats are for the best interests of people. But reality is the Democrats founded the KKK. Do your homework. Do your real homework. Don't go to a Democrat and find out how the Democrats got started. Go into the history books that were written before all of our current social fights have been going on about minorities and transgender and LGBTQ in general type arguments. Find out what where the Democrats stood before they started stepping out and saying, "I'm your hero." You know, the reality of it is many of the racism and inequality and unequal treatment of people has been a result of Democrats, because the Republicans all along have been for equal treatment of people, because we are Republicans who are for the republic. That's what the United States is. It's not a democracy, or what Democrats want it to be, which is mob rule. Mobs lynch people, right? That's what happened to the black people in the South. Mobs lynched people. In other words, the popular vote against the minorities won, right? The more people they had, they came and they strung you up on a tree, or they tied you to a cross and they burned you, right? And that's what mobs do. That's what mob rule results in. And that's what democracy is. It's mob rule. We are a republic, which is a specific form of democracy representative democracy, where people vote for the people to represent them in government. But it also creates a constitution, which is a set of rules that prevents people from abusing the minorities. So if you're a minority, and you feel disenfranchised, you really should be a Republican. You should be for the Constitution and the constitutional republic to last, and to not have these Democrats come in and try to change it to a democracy, or these communists coming in and trying to change it to a democracy so that their ultimate goal is it becomes a commune. It becomes a communist state where everyone is oppressed equally, unless you are the wealthy, connected person up at the top with the government. That's how communism works. It's the same as fascism. And these people are trying to confuse everybody. So you should be a Republican, and it would defend your rights against these majority peoples who have the popular vote in only a few states. That's why they wanted Hillary Clinton to win, when New York and California voted for her, but the rest of the nation voted for Trump. And thank God for our electoral college in making it so that you only get a pro rata share of representatives, even though you have the highest population. That way you cannot dominate the vote for the rest of the nation. What if, 48 states want to have freedom, but then 2 states want slavery? The 2 states are the most populated, and then they vote for slavery for all the rest of the other states? You're okay with that? Anyway, back to my original thing. So I believe they're going to sacrifice the dollar in order to keep the economy afloat so they don't look bad, but they're going to do it as a reactionary thing. Like, hey, you asked us to do it, so it's not our fault. So in the end, I believe that everything's going to raise in price. So we may have a great collapse where first you have a liquidity crisis, then you're going to have, because liquidity crisis occurs, you don't have cash. So if you're a business, there's no way you can invest in more production, in growing your capital. So you start to get a lack in goods and services, which will be like rice, your food, basically. We have bad weather too. My God, food prices are going to skyrocket. My God, what's going to happen? So I suggest to people, you got to store some grains. Right now, I just went to Costco for like 36 bucks. I was able to buy 50-pound bag of jasmine rice. They had California Cal Rose. I'm speaking for California right now because I live in California, so I don't know about the other states, but California Cal Rose rice was a 50-pound bag for $25. And then the basmati Indian rice, I think, was a 25-pound bag for, I can't remember the price exactly. I think it was close to like $18. So right now you can get rice, but eventually that price is going to skyrocket. Just like in 2008, I told people that would happen and they didn't listen. And there came a point where we had a rice shortage because the weather was bad, prices were rising. And it got to the point where Costco was already rationing how much you could buy. You can only buy like a maximum of 2 bags for your family. Now, 1 bag, I mean, I come from an Asian family. I'm half Asian, so we eat a lot of rice. And 1 bag for a family of 4 will probably last you 6 months if you eat rice every day. So you should be okay on 1 bag, and 6 months is a long time. So it's worth it to me to spend 30 bucks. 30 bucks is like 1 meal today at a restaurant. So if you take 30 bucks and you buy yourself a bag of rice, yeah, you'll get sick of rice, but you'll be able to eat it. You'll be able to eat and stay alive for 6 months at least on rice alone. There are other things such as water that you should need to get too. And, there are stores that like over by my area, we have a store that's right next to our Stater Brothers, which is a grocery store in California, that it's just a water store. They have pipes, filtration, massive filtration set up, and you can bring any size container and they will fill it up with water. And like I got a 5-gallon container and filled it up for about $1.50, something like that. And that's not reverse osmosis. I mean, that's not reverse osmosis with alkaline water. No, that's just straight filtered water, right? And it's great, clean, fresh, great tasting drinking water. And I have a lot for like 6 months. So start preparing for a crash, because eventually too, after the crash, they're going to inflate the dollar so that they can prop up the economy and start rebuilding it. And even then, now your purchasing power goes in the toilet. Even though now you may have currency available to you, it may not be worth that much. So you may not be able to buy anything anyway. So you'll either have a shortage of goods and services where you can't get it and you have a valuable dollar, or you'll have goods and services flowing, but your dollar's value goes in the toilet. So either way, you cannot buy anything, because you either have purchasing power but nothing to buy, or you have everything to buy with no purchasing power. So it allows you to really get nothing. So that's my update. I should have more. I'm trying to keep it short, but I have difficulty because once I start talking, it's hard for me to stop. But I've come to some revelations that I've heard prophecies that about the U.S. and Russia going to war because somebody received word that it was a bear and an eagle clashing. I have a feeling that I think they're confused. The bear is not Russia. We think of China as the dragon, but the reality is China is not the dragon anymore, because the communists have destroyed historical China, which had the dragon as its main animal. China is now the panda bear. It is a bear. So the bear and the eagle can still clash, but it will be China and the U.S. We may come to a temporary, short-term free trade agreement based on these tariffs, but I think in the long term, we're going to war with China. And that is the bear, because China uses the panda bear as a means to hurt you. It's like, I think it was Toy Story 3. I can't remember which one it is where Buzz and Woody get separated from the house, and they have that they come to this toy place where there's that fuzzy bear that he looks all cute and stuff, but he's really evil, and that's basically what the panda bear is for China. It's the fuzzy cute face for the evil dragon that's underneath, and they're using that bear all around the world. In fact, China has control over that bear. If you cannot use panda bears on anything without Chinese permission, and if they find out, they come after you. It doesn't matter what country you're in. So the panda bear, if you see it in your zoo, China's getting influence in that city. So the panda bear is China's Trojan horse face to you, where they put in that smiley cute little panda bear cuddly face, and while you're all they've got a knife in your back and you're like, oh my back hurts, I don't know why my back hurts, but that bear is so cute, oh my back, I'm bleeding, I'm dying, why am I dying? Then you forget that the bear was there, and you forget about China. You never even suspect it was them because the bear was so cute and cuddly and fuzzy and lovable. But they killed you with it. And so China is the bear. The bear and the eagle will clash. And it's coming. All right, you guys. I love you. If you like this content, make sure you hit that like button. Thumbs up. And make sure you subscribe with that big red subscribe button down below with white writing. But most importantly, and hit that notification bell so that you know since I take so long to re-upload stuff, you want that notification bell to let you know that I put something up. Also, most importantly, let all your friends, family, anyone you feel can benefit, coworkers, anyone you feel that can benefit from the information that I provide, let them know about my podcast. Tell them to subscribe, share, at least take a listen. Even if they hate me, I don't mind. If you don't like my stuff, go ahead, hit the thumbs down. That's fine with me. I've been experimenting with Periscope for Twitter. I'm not too fond of that platform, but I may use that for real short-term commentaries, just like, hey, look, the tariff war is this. Boom, done. Right? But this is my longer-term talking stuff. So if you like the content, subscribe, share it. Word of mouth is the best marketing and advertising. And, I will see you guys whenever my next one will be. I don't know what my next commentary will be about, but I like to stick to economics because that one affects us the most. As James Carville said, it's the economy, stupid, right? The reality of it is. That's the one thing that everybody it has in common. It's the economy. It's your wallet. If you don't have money, you can't eat. Everybody has to eat. And so everybody has to have money. So money affects everybody, and that's the most important issue. And all these other issues don't matter. So with that, I love you guys. Thank you for listening. If you listened this far, man, you got it. you got the gumption. And again, if you want strawberries, feel free to contact me on Facebook. Love you. Take care. Bye.